everyone. So today we will be seeing our functions in depth. Let me share my screen. So actually we will see functions with the type of analogy, so it will be very easy to understand and very easy to remember as well. So for example, let us take preparing a dish in kitchen. So just you are in a kitchen, so every dish has some recipe, right? So if you want to prepare a dal and a rice or any other dish, uh, everything has its own recipe and everything has its own flavor and presentation. So similarly, if you take a Python function also, for every function it has different programs, like different use cases, we can say, similar to a recipe. So here if you see the ingredient specific techniques tools like combined blocks, so we will take the analogy of this and we will go through what exactly the function definition will be, and we will relate it with the preparation of any dish. So here let's take the function definition. It will be like the recipe of any dish you will be preparing. So for example, I take this function. So generally the function definition will starts with def is the keyword. It says the Python interpreter. So I am creating a function, and this is the when to say function name. So it's like our dish name you can say, and then this is the parameters, like uh, inside what are the ingredients needed, something like, and inside that function. So there will be code blocks. So how we will be preparing the dish, that's the what like step by step process we can say. For here it's a greet function, so here it's a the function body where we have defined a message like hello plus the variable what we have defined. Here it will come the same. So we are returning in function, this is very important, like we are actually returning the value of the variable message. So if we don't write this line, generally the return value would be none. So if I take again the analogy, one ingredient, only one ingredient name, and it combines with the string hello and proceeds with personalized greeting and return the final product. So going forward, it's a simple function definition. So the analogy is like we have defined one dish name greet, and then we actually define what is the process, and we define okay, this is done. We are saying once the preparation is done, we are actually returning that dish to a bowl, you can say any serving bowl. So this is the function of return message, like return keyword, where we will be returning the all the process what we are doing inside the function. So going to next step. But so someone, we have prepared a dish, but if we are in the restaurant, you are the chef, so someone have to order the dish, right? So we have to call, to get the function to be called, we have to call the function. So here I have called the function greet and alias. Alias is the name, you can give any name. So and we are storing it at an variable because we want to access, we want to print that. Even you can print it directly, print of greet alias. Also it works. So if we want to check the same, me just copying the function. So this I will doing later. So now in this only what, so the main function is like for every dish there will be only one recipe, right? Like how to prepare dal. So not every time you will be writing all the ingredients step by step again. So if you want to refer any to prepare any dish, you will be referring only that recipe. So similarly, you don't need to write like the code every time. So it's a reusability. The main aim of the functions is like reusability of the code. Instead of writing the whole code every time, we just call this function, and the parameters will change accordingly. Like we will see in the going forward. So now it is like I'm giving Sai command prompt is not Python. Copy full file. So what it did, it has replaced the variable like argument what we have given, we can say, with the argument what we have passed in the function. So and we get the same. So we get the output like written message hello Sai. So here if you see the code, we have passed the ingredient ls as the parameter. So this is the argument, we can say, or parameter also. So instead of that, if you want like a predefined in the function, you can give a predefined uh, I meant to say predefined argument or parameter also. So something like if you take an analogy, if you have ordered burger, by default they will keep lettuce and tomatoes. You don't need to say until unless you don't want. They will obviously keep that when you ordered a burger in McD or in any restaurant. So similarly, if it is uh, we can default parameter in the code also, like name equal to Sai. Here I am defining. I am not giving any parameter here, and I'm just saving and I'm running the code. So here I have not passed any name or any parameter in the function what I am calling here. So but it actually by default it's a like default argument it have taken, and then it passed the default argument value to the name. And similarly we can change the keyword arguments also, like I don't want Sai, but I want equal to Kishore. So if I run this again, so now I should get hello Kishore. So here what we are saying to function, the name parameter should be replaced with not with the default parameter, but I am passing my own value to the parameter, and you have to replace with the same value. That is called keyword arguments. So here we have seen pre-added ingredients like default parameters, but if you go to next keyword arguments, right? So again, this is for our understanding. If you have any fancy restaurant, you can just specify the ingredients also. So you want only pepper or like paprika, or only you don't want some chilies, or you don't want something they, if you specify, they don't keep. If you specify the same, they will keep. So similarly, we can actually call the function by using keyword arguments. So it is the function definition will be same, but the arguments what we are passing will be different. So we are actually calling the function with the argument, like variable what we are giving. So and then the next is like, so here the scope, like we have defined message, right? So message is cannot access outside the variable. Second. Okay. So for example, I'm trying to, so here everything is good. So if I try to print message, right? So this variable is accessible only inside the function, so we can't access the function variable outside the function. So its a scope is limited only to that. So if I try to run that, it will say error. So the name message is not defined, even though we have defined inside the function, we can't access that. So similarly, like everyone can't access the kitchen. Every chef has their own workspace in the kitchen. So similarly, the message variable is accessible only in the function scope, not outside the function. And then again, here the arguments, what we are actually defining, function arguments. So if I take in this function, I am doing. So I am defining another function add, and I am giving this x comma y as parameters or arguments, what we can call it as. So it's like while preparing, we have to pass the necessary ingredients to the chef. Similarly, we have to pass the necessary arguments to the function so that it will work. So we have defining a addition function where the result is like we will be adding whatever we pass this x plus y, and then we are returning the addition result that we are printing. Actually, we should not use sum. Sum is already a function, some demo. So if you are getting in color, right, because it's the sum function is already defined as a taken keyword, better we don't use that variable. Just I am defining some demo. So it's like 5 3. So the answer should be 8. So I'm commenting this out. So similarly, it's like you can give any number of arguments. You're not limited to 2. I will define z. Uh, I am adding just z. I will be if I given only 2 arguments, right? Then the it will fail because the function is uh, actually it is expecting 3 arguments, but we are giving only 2 arguments. So missing one position require argument z. So what we are defining here, it will actually what it will do, it will pass to the arguments like x will be replaced with 5, y will be replaced with 3, and z will be replaced with 2. And then the function, it will do the whatever we require. So now if I call again, now it is working fine. So it's like 5 plus 3 plus 2 is 8. So similarly, the return variable again. So dish you receive. So how you will be returning the once you prepare the dish, right? So like once the function is done, I meant to say the preparation is done, then you have to give it in some format, right? Once dish is done, you have to serve in any serving bowl. Similarly, once the process is done, we have to return the whatever the I meant to say whatever the function body does, we have to return the result. So here again we are defining another function. So here defining a square function like square of x. So it's like multiplying the same. So it is taking only one argument. So it's like, so here we are returning result. So what if we don't return the result, right? It actually return a none. Just let's see. The code won't fail, but the function is not returning any value. Like it is creating the code is working fine and it is doing the multiplication, but it is we are not returning the what exactly the function will be outputting. So it by default it returns a none. So if we haven't given any return statement, then it by default it will return none. So if I given again a return statement, so now it is working fine. 4 square is 16 because we have given the return statement and we call it a result. So this is how we define the functions. So the final thing is like nested functions. We can define a function inside a function, and we can call it the function, and it will execute all the interior inside defined functions also. So what we did, we have called a function, uh, like created a function, outer function, and then we defined inner function. Inner function is like print statement we are defining, and then the scope of outer function we have calling inner function. So it's like now we call this function outer function, there is no argument, we are just calling the function. So again this function is not accessible outside the outer function, but if we call this function is also executed. So but we can't access this function because it's defined inside this outer function. But if any function is defined outside and we can call it in this, we will see in the uh, next. So for example, so let's run this code and we'll see what is the output. Here we are not returning any function, like any output for the outer function. We are just having only this print statement. So what this output will give. So it is a inner function and we haven't written any return type, so it is returning none. for this. So the outer, when we call the outer function, this inner function is also got called, and then it executed all the statements inside this inner function. But what if we are trying to access inner function? So here it is saying inner function is not defined. Uh, and for example, I am taking this to outside. So I am calling this function which is defined outside. Inside that I am calling the same function. Now I should not get any error because I have defined two individual functions, and I am calling the two individual functions separately. But I am calling in the outer function the inner function. So it's like, yeah. So if you see the return, we haven't written any return type, so it is printing none. But we have called a print statement, so it has done this an inner function. And in the outer function, what we again call the same inner function we have called. So again, this is doing the same whatever the body of the inner function is having. So this is how functions we define. So just go through this PPT once I share it. It is very easy to remember and easy to understand with the analogy what we are doing. Any questions here? If no questions,
No.
yeah, then we will go to uh, REEBORG's world. So this is actually a website where we can write code. There are multiple, I want to say multiple programs or multiple use cases will be there. We can write in Python or in JavaScript as well. But we will be using Python. So user don't require any login. So for example, I am loading this. So, so still loading. Yeah, already loaded. Let it load. Okay, let me just use this. Okay, so here it's a robot. So we have a grid like a 10 by 10. This is x-axis and this is y-axis. So at present robot is at x1 and y1. So they have given the simple code. It's like alone. So it will having multiple use cases. What I said, yeah, you can write the multiple use cases depending on that. So here what we will be doing, if we do the move, right, so the robot will go for one step, like it will go into the next square. So here they have defined few already, like move, turn left, take, put, toss, build, wall, pass, think. They have defined already multiple functions. Apart from that, we will define as per the requirement what we have defined in PPT.
Those are inbuilt functions, huh?
These are not inbuilt functions. These are actually defined functions for this by this REEBORG Gold. So this is for only for works for not Python default functions, but it is only for REEBORG's old default functions. So it's just for to do the I meant for coding purpose, to learn coding purpose, they have defined few functions. From these functions we will build. So it's like we will build the if I given build wall, right? So it will build some wall here. So if you want to wait for some time, and use it robot is like if you want object oriented programming, then it will uh, use this use it robot object. So I will be giving this documentation as well. So if you go through this documentation, you will get to know. So yeah. So it's a simple valid function for that. So generally the built-in functions are from python.org. We have I will give you this. You can just check what are the Python built-in functions. Here we have the list of all the from A to Z. What are the built-in functions in Python? ID input is instance. Uh, around set. So we will have for every documentation will be available here only. It is the official Python website. So you can just check this for Python. This is not Python built-in function, but it is specific to this website to do the coding for our understanding. So now if I do it again, it will so it's a reset button, so it will. So this is like a step-by-step process. Like if I want to move the robot again, mm, so if I click, so it has run 1 2 3. So because I have given three 3 times functions. So if I click now, if you want to execute and see one by one, step by step, right? So just if you click this one, so it will show so which step it is running. So first step it run, the robot moves, and the second step it run, the robot moves, and that you can like replay and play buttons like forward and backward. So if I go back, the robot the execution also goes to second line, and the robot also goes to second. So now it went into third box, and my execution line is at this one. Then if I done, move, done. Now next. So next is like there are 5 steps it is saying. So all the executions completed. So it is the print statement according to their website. So whatever the instruction we have given, all the instructions got completed. So here the instructions we have tried to move the robot forward using different functions. So now the next we have done already. So you can do any number of times. Now what we have to do? There is no turn right and turn around functions if you see. So if you go here, there will be only turn left, and there won't be any turn right or turn like turn around functions are not there. So but we have to define. So how we will be defining using turn left function. So it's like if I turn left 2 times, so if you see if I turn left right, so let me not move. I will be using the define function already. turn left, if I do, so the robot turn left. So if I turn left again, okay, so I have to reset. So if I turn left, okay, there is turn left, it turn left and again. Okay, let me play if it is. Yeah, it turn around, right? So it is like it turn totally backward. Let me turn step by step. So it turn left and then it turn backward. So it's like it turn from front facing to it turn totally backward, the robot. Now if I say move right, uh, okay. So it is saying I hit a wall. So it cannot move this side because the facing is this side and it will move only whatever the its face is facing, it will move that side. So if you want to turn around right, so here what we have done turn left east, turn left twice. But what if we want to turn right as right from left to right? If I have given turn left 3 times, then the robot this position it will actually turn 1, 2, 3. So it will face like x1 what where my mouse is there. So it will turn to right instead of turning this side right. It will turn by step by step. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, misspelled. So it actually turned right towards us. So if you see, but every time we can't do the same thing, right? So instead of why we have to write for every time if someone says the robot have to turn right, instead of writing these three statements multiple times, uh, we will define a function and f turn right. In that function, so I'm using tabs. Now I will call that function. So instead of I am writing turn right. So I have defined a function, so this can be used at multiple times. So I am calling twice. So I'm resetting it. Now I'm just playing it. So if you want to see step-by-step execution, so the execution started at this object because the function is not the execution point. So where the function is called, then the execution point will start. So now it goes to turn left a statement, then again it came back to the next function call, and again it will do turn left, turn left, and turn left. So here what we have did, we have called turn left function inside the turn right function. So what we did, like inner function and outer functions, right? What we have seen just before, nested functions. So similarly in the turn right function we have called. So similarly we can define turn around, like if you want to only background, right? Turn around. Yeah, and if twice it is called, then it is just it will turn backwards. So now what I will be doing, turn around, and now I will be just again doing. So you can see the robot is rotating. Now it went to turn around, turn left, and turn around. So it went to from this side position to the front forward facing position. So we have defined the create a function for robot. So now they are saying define it library and use functions from it. So again back. So they want us to define the functions in the library. So if I see here, I am defining functions here. I am just removing, and it's similar to syntax what we are using from library. So if you have remember, so we have used square root function, right? So from math we are importing square root function. Similarly it is the same kind of I meant to say how the modules are working is like the same. So if someone has written the code already, we are just calling the functions for our purpose. So instead of rewriting the code again, we are just calling the functions from the modules what we are defining. So if it is not there already, we are actually like pip we are doing pip, right? What we have did for YouTube downloader by YouTube, right? So someone has written the like the use case or the code already, we are just using that code by installing the libraries, like libraries or packages what we call here. This this is what they have given as library. From library import turn right comma turn around. So this should execute, right? So if I execute this, I have to stop it and then reset it, and then I'm executing. So I should see my robot should be turning as it is. So, done. So similar, so this is how we are accessing uh, modules in Python. So someone has defined the code already, like we defined for turn right, turn around functions, and they have kept it in some path like libraries. So we will be importing that functions from the modules. So here my module is library and we are importing turn right, turn around. It is similar to just I am typing from math import square root. The syntax is similar if you have remember. So it's like the same thing what we are doing. So from math module we are importing square root function. Here from library module we are importing turn right, turn around functions. But in library module what we did, we have defined the functions like turn right, turn around. So if you see it's before we have multiple like nearly uh, 8 lines of code, but here if we see it's like in 6 lines of code everything is done, right? So it's like reusability of the code, what we call it as. Instead of rewriting again, we actually use the what are the different modules available, or like reusability. If I want to use in the same function multiple times, then I will be using and this the functions. So now I have resetted it again. And now I have to move the robot like this. So in a square shape, but they have given. So first I have to go to y to x1. So it's like y2 is this one and x y to x1. Uh, so okay. So here, so for going here, what I can do, just if I turn left and go move here, then it will work, right? So I have to turn left to go this side. So now I'm just removing this. Turn left. So whatever the facing the robot is, it will go in that direction only. So I want to go to this side y2, then I have to turn the robot to left side and then move. So if I do this, sorry, I'm typing. So my instruction got completed. So the robot went this side, like left side, and it went to y2. If you see, y2 is this square and x1 is this one. Now my robot have to go to y2 x2, next one. So for that I have to turn my robot to right side, but normally it is not there. So we have already defined turn right. Now we will doing. So I will be turning my robot to right side and then I will move my robot. So now again what I did. Uh, okay, now I got my robot to this side. Now again what I need to do, I have to turn right again. If you see this my robot is facing this side, I have to go come down as per the instructions. I have to come to x2 y1. So x2 is this square and y1 is this one. So again I have to turn my robot to right side and then come here.
Sir, why it's showing like that can't import name turn right?
That which which one before? That I have actually this one I have given my I have written like this first TRUN instead of TORN. It cannot say the this function name is not correct because I have typed wrong. So multiple times I have typed in R first and U second. That's why it's giving that error. So nothing else with the typing mistake. So now again. So now I got it. So I have completed here. Now up to where I got y2 x2 and x2 y1. Now again I want to go back to x1 y1. Where where I have to go x1 y1. So again my robot have to turn right only. So if I turn left it will go this side. If I turn right it will come this side. So again I will be doing. So now I am done. So I have made a square 1, 2, 3, 4. So depending on the instructions provided we have defined. So if you want to instead of writing this turn right function, if you want to write we have to write turn left 3 times and then again turn left 3 times, turn left 3 times. So it will be very much code and it's not I mean to say not readable also. So you are why you are turning left 3 times. So you have to define it in a comment. So if you have defined turn right function rightly, so it is very readable. So what we are doing, the first function we are turning left and then moving. Next we are turning right, then moving, turning right and then moving, and turning right and then moving. So like this, the main functions, the functions why we need to use that to reduce the code and to use the reusability. So we can use the function at anywhere. So which is very useful. Meant to say, functions are very useful in any programming language. So where we reduce the code and use the code already which is already defined, so that it won't create unnecessary complications like code readability will increase and we don't need to rewrite the code again and again. The same turn left we don't need to write multiple times. Maybe we have saved nearly 10 lines of code here.
Sir, for me getting error like can't cannot import name turn right.
Where on this only
Yeah, in this one
cannot import name.
name turn right import error.
Yeah,
It's showing like
you have to define it, right? You have defined this in this library.
oh, first you need to define then only we need to write the
Y-
Python code, sir.
Yeah, this is the Python code. So
Yeah, okay, sir, now
generally,
I understand.
generally these are the defined functions already. Apart from that, if you want to turn right, then you have to define how to turn the robot right. It is not given purposely the turn right function.
Without getting in the library, we can't import like
Yeah,
this.
yeah, we can't import because there is no turn function here. If you go to this REEBORG keyboard, there won't be any turn right function. So it is purposefully done because we have to write a function in library or you can define it here also like in the Python code itself.
Yeah, okay, certain.
So here what I have defined, what I've shown is just like modules, how we are importing and using. That's why I have defined in library like import from math, import square root, similar to that syntax. We are importing this one. So if you define here, then it won't give any problem also. Like, so we have to turn the robot three times to get the right facing. Like right facing, we have to turn the robot thrice. So it's like nested functions. Uh, I meant to say nested functions exercise. That's why they won't they haven't given this turn right option. So that user will define that function and will get to know how to use the functions. So any questions?
No such.